The wait is finally over. Kia's 3-row 7-seat electric SUV is finally here. You may have seen it tonight as soon as the embargo was removed. Online reviews, whether it's on YouTube or actually on media outlet sites, it's all up. So go and read that. I'm going to read those too. Let's get excited. But what I wanted to do today was take you guys through the website. Let's have a look through what some of the key features are. We'll have a look at what the accessories are. We'll walk through the spec sheet. We'll look at the price as well. And yeah, let's check it out. Let's all check it out. So over here, first things first, you see all electric 7-seat SUV. 400 volt and 800 volt architecture, which is fantastic, allows really fast charging and efficiency as well. WLTP 505 kilometers for GT line grade. So what does that mean for you guys? Well, I've got the Tesla one here. So we've got a Model Y Performance WLTP 514. Now on the dash, whenever I charge it to 100%, it does say about 478. Realistically, I drive probably about 400 odd. 350 to 400 before I generally feel like I should charge it. So I'd say somewhat in the same vicinity. As set that as your expectation if you're getting a GT line grade, and you should be okay. And then you've also got vehicle to load or V2L capability as well, which is fantastic. So let's go down. So on the website, the first things you can see as you scroll down, you've got the brochure, which we'll go through in a moment. You can book a test drive, find a dealer, build and price. That will go towards the end of the video. Epic starts here. It's a very bold statement. Having a closer look, so here's all the colors, and you've got a 360-degree view of the car. So ocean blue matte, aurora black pearl, flare red, iceberg green, panthera metal, pebble grey, and snow white pearl. So let's go back to the ocean blue matte and let's just click start and let's scroll around. So it's a very nice vehicle. Now the first two things that I guess I'm noticing, and I do remember some of the media outlets saying so, is we don't have that tiger mask grille, which is the additional LED lights that are over here inside the matrix ones that you can see here. And then the other thing as well is that I noticed that the charge port is here on the back right side. Teslas are on the back left, so I guess it's just something to think about, or maybe for Tesla to think about how they're going to manage all of this whenever they open up their supercharger network to, or the entire supercharger network to non-Tesla vehicles as well, because at the moment pretty much all Teslas reverse in and then they plug the charger here from the left hand side. What that means, if you've got an EV9, is potentially you're going to have to drive straight in like that, head in first, and you'd hope that the charger actually reaches the back of the car. And this looks like a big car. If I remember right, it's probably about 5 meters. So who knows, something will have to happen to support that, or there might be lots of photos coming up on the internet of weird position parking just to get a charge. Let's continue to scroll down. So let's have a look. So digital side mirrors, augmented reality heads-up display, fingerprint module, panoramic display, digital center mirror. So we'll start at the top. Side mirrors, I will be honest, I am not a fan of. Perhaps something may change my mind in the future. At face value, I think there's two things that I'm not comfortable with for these. First of all, they look like they are ridiculously expensive to replace. Traditional cars, you can get a pry tool, pry off the mirror cap. You could buy OEM ones, or you could buy aftermarket ones online. You could also buy that little panel of glass and you can pry that off really easily and replace too, for usually within a couple of $100s. This one looks like it's an insurance claim, and it looks like it's going to be thousands of dollars, tens of thousands potentially as well. So that's one thing. And the second bit that I'm not too comfortable with, or not too sure how it works really, is how does it look, or how does it work if in a traditional car you can adjust your seating or bob your head up and down to see a little bit more of a different angle on your mirror? How does that work for something like this? If any of you guys watching this video, if you guys have tested this before on another vehicle, I'd love to know, so drop it down in the comments below. And yeah, let's continue that discussion there. Heads-up display. My first thought on this is, is a user forced to use the Kia navigation in order to see augmented reality like that? Or does it also work with Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze as an example? Because if it does, fantastic, I'm all for it. Otherwise, I'm not too sure how many people would potentially use it because, yeah. And again, that's just my opinion, purely because I'm not too sure on what the navigation system is and what maps it uses and what kind of data it uses. But either way, it's something for us to all learn about when the time comes, hopefully. Fingerprint module, I really like this. Not much more to say. It looks like you load your personal settings through a fingerprint, and that's all. Saves you from pushing buttons around. So yeah, I like it. Integrated panoramic display. I think that's quite standard in a lot of cars these days. You see all the BMWs do it these days. You've got Mercedes that have done it. You've got who else does it? Yeah, a lot of Kias have also had that as well. So yeah, it's very welcoming to see because it's nice aesthetic look, and it doesn't kind of break it up to look really messy with multiple, I guess, different bulges or different gauges here and there. It's just all one seamless big screen. And this one, digital center mirror. Look, to me, I feel like if that helps, if that really is a camera for the back, then yeah, that potentially works really well. The last thing you kind of want to see in a normal people mover or in a 3-row SUV today, if you're looking at that mirror, is all the heads of all the people in the way. So I think that's pretty cool. This is the important one, Kia Connect. So here you go, guys. EV9 will have Kia Connect. Unfortunately for the EV6, I'm not too sure what's happening there, but I do remember reading that current owners of EV6, you don't have Kia Connect. So EV9 seems like it'll have it. So over the air updates is coming, so you won't have to visit a service center or a dealership whenever you need to get an update. What's this next one? So Meridian sound speakers, so premium speakers, fantastic, and obviously just on the GT line. Hidden touch bar, I think this is really cool. Really cool design thing. So it just seems like these light up, and I guess represent the buttons that they are whenever you need to touch them. Otherwise, it just looks like it's a blend into the material, and it looks like a straight bar. So that looks pretty cool. Ambient lighting, I always welcome that. It just looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, especially at night. Makes it feel like you're driving a really nice car. Helps brighten up the mood, I guess. And then column type gear shift with the start button. I mean, I think that's starting to be like a standard these days, right? Everyone's moving away from the additional gear lever, you know, in the traditional middle console bit, and everyone's switching to putting it somewhere near the steering wheel. So it's very welcoming. Let's scroll down. So this person here looks really comfortable, and this of course is the GT line interior with two-tone. And then you've got premium relaxation seats, so it's got plenty of headroom space for shoulders, powered leg rests in the front, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty much reclining backwards. The only thing I'd say though, remember that this is a family car, is how often would you potentially even get to nap like this lady here or this person here? Because, you know, in my instance, I'm going to have kid seats here, so good luck to even folding that 3/4 of the way down. And then I guess in other instances, there's going to be some of you guys who have newborns or kids with rear-facing seats. So good luck even putting that halfway down. But either way, the functionality is there. I'm sure someone's going to use it, and that looks pretty cool. Dual sunroof, fantastic. Thank you, Kia, for not just having an absolute full glass roof. The Tesla one gets really hot, and yeah, I'm glad that it's dual sunroofs, which means you've got covers there as well. Heated and ventilated front seats on all grades, and then you also get it on the second row outer seats on GT line grades. So it's very good that they're actually extending this to all grades, because in most of Kia's cars today, you have to get the top spec just to get the ventilated seats, and that's also the same in a lot of other cars, especially European cars. So you usually have to pay for an extra option just to get the ventilated seats. So fantastic, kudos to you, Kia, love it. Independent rear air conditioning, so climate control for rear passengers, localized and reduced power consumption. So it looks like they have their own separate control, which is really good. Further down, some convenient stuff. So remote smart parking assist. Look, to me, I feel like that's a gimmick. I mean, I personally don't have any use case for it, and I guess my general view as a consumer is like, you got your license, you learn how to drive. If there's a parking spot, would you not naturally just want to drive in? I don't know, that's just me, but yeah. Walking system. What is this one? Tilt slide, easy entry for third row without removing a child seat if installed. Fantastic. This is an absolute game changer. Now, I don't know if any other cars does this, so if you've got a different car that does this, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know, but this to me sounds fantastic, because all of the 3-row SUVs that I've seen so far, it's had a full tilt system where it does impact the child seats if you need to move the seats forward to get someone into the third row. So this looks like the whole seat just moves, and that it doesn't kind of flex forward, which is a really good win. Multiple charging ports, so V2L, there is one in the boot, and lots of USB-C ports. So fantastic, good to see that they've just pretty much adopted all of the USB-C, so no more USB-A, no more fumbling around which side is right just to plug in a charger. It's just straight USB-C, bang, there you go, start charging. Auto flush door handles that present when touched or nearby. Look, that's fantastic. A lot of cars are doing that these days. It's expected, definitely coming from an EV, considering you'll have a lot better aerodynamics. So yeah, not much more to say on that. And then luggage space, so it looks like it pretty much folds flat. It is on a slight angle. You can see that space over here kind of starts to slim down, but for the most part it looks pretty flat. So I mean, that's really good. Hopefully you can fit a lot of stuff in there too. And then here is the flagship blue color, and then it goes through some charging stuff. Okay, so onto the charging bit here. You've got the 76.1 kilowatt air and 99.8 kilowatt earth and GT line. So the WLTP range that they specify here, 443, 512, 505. Realistically, I think that's probably going to hit maybe somewhere about 350 Ks realistically, and then these ones are probably going to be more around the 400 odd kilometer mark, where you could drive quite comfortably before you'd want to fill up. And again, that's just my guesstimate, my opinion. One day if we ever get our hands on it, we can absolutely do a test. Okay, so Type 2 charging, so fantastic. Most vehicles here in Australia now are pretty much all Type 2 charging, which is fantastic. You also have a V2L connector for outside, so you can, I guess, plug in whatever appliances you want. In this example here, you can see they've clearly got a iMac working at the front, and yeah, it's a very odd use case. I would have thought they'd put something else, but you know, you never know what you need, I guess. And then regen brake. So smart regen brake adjusts all of the regen brake based on forward traffic flow, and I guess yeah, other general information here. All right, the more important bit, the performance. So SUV capability. So tuned in Australia, all of the ride and handling is all locally tuned. So we have our special, I guess, tuned vehicles here in Australia, which means that there's less noise. It's more suited to our roads because it's harsher conditions over here. And then you've also got sound absorbing foam in tires as well, and you've got insulating laminated glass on doors. You apparently also have a terrain mode, so normal, sport, eco mode using convenient drive mode here. You also have terrain mode, snow, mud, sand, to optimize driving conditions, and this is only on the GT and Earth grade, so that's essentially the mid and the top spec, so on the dual motor ones. Alright, a range of safety features. So this one's highway driving assist, which seems like it can kind of like avoid cars, it seems. Autonomous emergency braking, which essentially means it'll stop if it detects something to stop you from having an accident, blind spot view monitor, navigation based smart cruise control, rear cross traffic collision, lane following assist, surround view monitor, blind spot collision avoidance, forward side reverse parking collision avoidance, safe exit and safe exit assist, high beam assist. There's a whole bunch of safety features here, which is great. Now onto the meaty part of the video, specs and key differences. So air rear wheel drive, you can see that's the specs of the battery and WLTP range. So in terms of power, you've got 160 kilowatt, 350 newton meters of torque, goes up to 283 and 700 newton meters of torque, and then this one doesn't say anything in particular to the power. All of these seem to have over-the-air updates, which is fantastic. You've also got mood lighting in this one. You've got additional surround view monitor, blind spot monitor, parking collision. So essentially, from moving from the air to the earth, you get the dual motors and you get these key things over here. We'll have a look in the spec sheet in a moment to see anything else you get. And then moving up to the GT line, obviously you can get it in that special blue color. I presume you got bigger wheels, digital side mirrors, the heads-up display, digital center mirror, better sound system, second row heated ventilation seats, premium relaxation seats. I presume that was the fold down, remote smart park, and V2L exterior. So if V2L exterior is something you want, you essentially have to get the top spec. Alright, service plan costs. So I've got that tab open up here. You've got 3 years at 706, 5 years at 1351, and 7 years at 1997. So that's essentially the price there, and it seems like it is a bit cheaper than the EV6 GT. So all variants of the EV9. Actually, since it's a GT line, we should be comparing these two here, top and bottom. Again, it is only slightly cheaper. Still cheaper, but just slightly. Okay, so further down is the actual build of it. So before we get into the build, I want to have a quick look at the actual spec sheet. So here it is, EV9 model year 2024. So I'll zoom in and let's scroll down and have a look at all of these key differences. So mechanical and feature list is what they call this spec sheet. Now the first thing that catches my eye is that you've got rear drive single motor, all drive dual motor. They've bundled this all together, and because I love cars, we essentially want to look at the most important bit, which is the 0 to 100 kilometer acceleration time. 8.2, 6 and 5.3. Now looking further down, it looks like this is for the air wheel drive, that's for the Earth all drive and GT line all drive. And because this is all same in terms of the maximum power and torque for the front and rear motors or here, and then the combined is the same, what this indicates to me is that it is electronically limited by software. So between the Earth and the GT line, they have the same motor in there, the same electric motors in there, but it seems like it's potentially limited electronically to that 0.7 seconds. So that kind of begs to differ, is Kia ever going to offer a performance boost on the Earth all-wheel drive, similar to what Tesla offer on the long range? Battery details here, I guess, is what we've covered off a bit before, 76.1 and 99.8. Okay, so this one here is interesting. So onboard charger maximum capacity. So this is essentially to let you charge at home. So 7 kilowatts for a single phase, 10.5 kilowatt for 3 phase. I guess comparing that to Tesla, you're essentially looking at the 7 kilowatts as well, 11 kilowatts, so only 0.5 difference on 3 phase. And you can see here from an AC charge with an 11 kilowatt charger, so about 7 hours, and then 9 hours and 5 minutes on the bigger battery. So remember, the 2-hour difference here essentially references the 23.7 kilowatt difference from there. So yeah, DC fast charging, so CCS type 2, we've mentioned that, that's fantastic. And then if you from 10% to 80% on a 350 kilowatt charger, approximately 24 minutes. So that's pretty impressive, really impressive. Okay, WLTP range we have covered before. Now, how big of a car is this? Let's see, length just about 5.015 meters, so just a smidge over 5 meters. So it's a tad smaller in terms of length, or a tad shorter than a Kia Carnival, but this one is a wide car, 1980, so nearly 2 meters wide. Other key things good to note is tare weight of the other two, the middle and top spec, over 2.5 tons. So they're really heavy vehicles. Now, some key differences that we can kind of see here. So what we want to look for is essentially where the dashes versus the dots are. So V2L, we have seen already that that's on the top spec only. Then active sound design, not too sure what that is, but I presume that's potentially something about noise insulation, potentially. Again, only on the GT line. Scrolling further down, we've covered this bit off, which was the 3 terrain modes. That's only in the mid and the top spec. Presume that's potentially because of front and rear motor, so it's a dual motor setup. Steering column, this is powered on the GT line. All the brakes and suspension is the same across all variants, which is good. Top spec GT line has 21-inch alloys, 285/45 R21 versus the 19's inch alloy with 255/60 R19. So it's a square setup at 285, so that's actually pretty wide. 21-inch running 45 profile, which should be somewhat comfortable. I guess for context, the 21s on the Tesla Model Y is only, I think off the top of my head, 35 profile. Either way, the 60s here, this would be really comfortable to drive, I would presume, especially in the Earth all-wheel drive. You probably do, as you would have seen at the top, you've got a range hit or range impact in the top spec, especially with that 2-inch alloy. It's probably a lot heavier for each wheel. Good to see that all variants have tire pressure monitoring system, and then a lot of safety specs that you just get across the range, which is fantastic. So where the difference comes in probably starts here, PCA, parking collision avoidance assist. So you see that you don't get any of these in the base spec. You get reverse in the mid spec, and you also get side and forward in the top spec. Then moving further down, surround view monitor and blind spot view monitor you've got in the mid and the top spec. What else do we have? You've got intelligent front lighting system, so matrix LED you've got here. And then you've got remote park assist in the top spec here. Difference in seat trim across the range, with the top spec with two-tone. And then mesh headrests, front black versus beige. So really, besides the badging that says GT line at the front, so far we know that you can quickly just look at the headrest. So if the headrest is black, it's either the base or the mid spec, and if it's beige, you know it's the top spec. And you've got additional lumbar adjustment for the top spec variant here. Okay, so that's the one bit that they didn't cover off before. So the relaxation seats also do have two-way power legs as well for the front, so that's really cool. And then memory seating is only on the top spec. All the other seating changes looks like it's standard across the range, which is really good to see. side molds, so on the exterior. So again, that's how you can tell the difference between the base spec and the mid versus top spec. You look at the wheel arches, and if they're gloss black, it's either mid or top spec. If it's plastic, then it's the base spec. And then gloss black window surround, so a lot more gloss black here. So essentially what this tells me is, looking at the first 5 here, if you see a lot of gloss black, it's most likely the GT line. The other thing you can also obviously tell is digital side mirrors. It's definitely a top spec GT line. Looks like there's some headlight differences here around thin lens type versus small cube projection type. So some minor differences here. You can also see dual sunroof in the top spec only, and then it's also got privacy glass in the top spec, whereas the others only have solar glass. Okay, so supposedly 4-spoke premium steering wheel, you get a light up logo. That's pretty funky. Don't think I've ever seen something like that before. And then what else do we have in top spec? Digital center mirror. You've got sport pedals. You've got premium door scuff panels and luggage seal plate. I presume that's just like a metal or brushed aluminium type look. And then some differences in the door trims and dashboards. What else do we get in the different specs? You get sunshades or blinds in the top spec here for the second row, so really good to protect you from the summer heat. And then ambient mood lighting in the mid and top spec, which we saw a bit before, and it's 64 colors. So it's not millions of colors, it's only 64 colors. Alright, glove box. Not too sure what parabolic type is and what that's supposed to mean, but I guess we'll have to see if we can find that in videos or pictures later. Center console, tray and roller lid versus pockets only. Then the rest of the storage looks to be exactly the same, even when we come down to infotainment. So top spec is 14 speakers versus 8 speakers in the other specs. And then looking further down, you've got the augmented reality heads-up display. Other than that, wired Apple CarPlay, wired Apple CarPlay. This does not say wireless CarPlay at all, unless I've missed it. Let's have a quick look again. Kia Connect. No, so it doesn't look like it has wireless CarPlay or Android Auto. It's all wired. And then ventilation, pretty much all the same except the heated and ventilated second out row seats, which we said before was in the GT line. And then color options, which is all over here. And that takes us to our last bit, which is build and price. So on this page, you've essentially got all the various grades that you can do. I've punched in postcode 2000 just for New South Wales as a quick example, I guess. And these are the figures. So we know that the base model they said was from 97,000 all the way up to, if I click GT line, $121,000. So that essentially means the driveway prices, including all taxes, is 107,000 all the way through to 140,000. The only options that you could pick besides these, if I click next to color, are the variations of colors. So you've got Snow White Pearl, Panthera Metal, Aurora Black Pearl, Pebble Grey and Iceberg Green. $990, but when you look at it after it adds the tax, it works out to be about $1,300 odd compared to the base color from here to here. So Flare Red actually is the base color. That doesn't cost anything, whereas the rest really costs $990. Why would they have red as the base color? Who knows? Either way, that looks like that. Now, I have done you guys a favor and I have prepared all of the costs here so that it's a lot easier for you guys to see. So what does that mean? So I've got New South Wales here, I've got ACT, I've got WA, SA, Queensland, Victoria, Tasmania and Northern Territory, because we don't discriminate on states. What does this mean? So looking at all of these figures here, all I can say is you lucky people in Canberra or in ACT, because if you look at the base spec, there's just under $5,000 difference, and then you look at the top spec, there is just under $7,000 difference. So you guys are saving heaps of money down in ACT. So yeah, if you guys want to save money and want to buy a car, seems like ACT is where you need to be. ACT is the place to be. And yeah, so besides ACT, the next one down, so 102 looks like maybe 105, so it looks like Northern Territory, and then you've got 106 between South Australia and Tasmania. And Western Australia, what are you guys doing there? What are you guys charging for taxes? Because it seems like you guys are paying the most there. We need EV adoption to pick up in Western Australia. We need our charging infrastructure to be better supported over there. But seems like, unfortunately, you guys are paying top dollar over there. And yeah, jumping back to this, we've covered off EV service plans, we've covered the spec sheet, we have gone through all of this spec sheet, we've gone through build, and we've gone through the website. So guys, that wraps up everything for the video. If you did watch through all of it, thank you very much. If it did help, give it a like and a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. Welcome again to all of the recent new subscribers. Keep this snapshot if that's what you want to refer to in terms of all the pricing. It's essentially me punching in all the postcodes, taking screenshots to make it easier for you guys. But that's essentially it in a nutshell. So it seems like, depending on state, the cheapest you can get one. Obviously, not too sure if they allow any negotiation or not, but based on RRP, base spec, it seems like the cheapest you're going to get is 102,000 something in ACT, and it all goes up to about the 133 in ACT, but roughly about 140 in most of the other states, 138 to 140,000 for the top spec. Yeah, that essentially covers all of it. Are you guys going to buy one? If you have got an order for one or you're looking at getting one, let me know. I'd love to hear what you think of it and why you made the jump to spend that much money on a car. It is absolutely having Kia push the boundaries for what the car is worth, and there are a whole heap of other cars that you could absolutely consider. I am going to pull together a video of other potential cars that you could buy within that price range, but look, it does look like an amazing car, and if this is a car that you're going to buy, like I said, drop it in the comments below. Let's get excited together, and yeah, if you guys have any further questions, let me know. Otherwise, stay safe, and we'll see you soon, and thanks again for tuning in.